Well, good morning, Conversation Club. Good morning to you. It's yet another glorious Sunday morning in the year 2025. Can you believe that we are in May? It is the second Sunday in May, and this is the day that is set aside to celebrate mothers. Now, I'm like Dr. Mary T. We should be celebrating mothers, fathers, and each other every day. But the world pauses for a brief moment, 24 hours, to say Happy Mother's Day to those individuals, those mothers, women who have poured into people's lives, who have guided people down the pathways, who has shown love, who have raised children, maybe raised grandchildren, maybe raised nieces and nephews, maybe they were godchildren, but whatever they were, and whoever they are in your life, we want to say thank you for taking time out of your life and out of your substance and your resources to say Happy Mother's Day and to show love to people and to raise them, those individuals. So we can say that. So my salute to you is Happy Mother's Day. I have something else to say at the end, but when we get there, I will do so. But for now, let's give a shout out to Bishop Maynard, Pastor Jerry, and I'm going to say Dr. Mary T for last because it is Mother's Day, and a special shout out to her because this is a day that we do celebrate her. So this is going to be a marvelous and wonderful day. Again, I have something to share towards the end. And so good morning to you as well. I see Elsie White's popped in here, Forrest Dean, Betty Patrick, Deborah Derrickson, Gary Hayes is in the house. What's going on with you all? Those are just the people that put their names in the chat. There's so many more that are actually on there. I can kind of see you all popping in. So we're just going to go ahead and get started so we can make sure that we stay on time because we are in the What Are You Talking About series because it's so important that we understand what's coming out of our mouth. What is your conversation? Who are you having conversations with, first of all? And then, what are you saying in these conversations? What's your dialogue? What's your exchange? What comes to your mind? What is surfacing? Because the Bible tells us what's in our heart comes out of our mouth. So whatever you're meditating on, whatever you are allowing to fester, whatever you're allowing to grow internally is going to show up externally. And how we know is when you start talking. I like Judge Judy. She says, how do I know you're lying? Because your lips are moving. How we know what's going on with you, what's happening? Because your lips are moving. What is being released from your mouth is so key and so important. And so we're going to talk about this. And this Sunday, we're going to be talking about silence is a strategy. I need you to really pick this up, that silence is a strategy. I want you to understand that the silence is a strategy. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing. You can use silence as a strategy. Sometimes you could just be quiet. Hit the mute button. I like to say that all the time. Hit that mute button. Society tells us, and they really celebrate, matter of fact, when you're quick, you can respond real quick. You got some strong comebacks. Y'all call it clapback, nowadays. So, you're always thinking on your feet. You always got something to say. But sometimes you don't have to say anything. Some discussions, some situations, it is better just to be quiet. And we're going to get to that. And so even though society pressures us to release, sometimes you have to be disciplined enough to be quiet. I'm going to say it again. Society may push those buttons and tell you that you need to release. You need to say something. You need to defend yourself. You need to put people in their place. You need to let them know who you are. Don't let anybody walk over you. Don't let anybody talk over you. You need to make sure people know, that, hey, I got my degrees or I come from this type of pedigree, or, you know my position is, and I was promoted to this, and I'm an evangelist, and I'm a supervisor, and I'm a bishop, and I'm a this. And sometimes we really just want to make sure people know where we stand and who we are. So we're releasing things out of our mouth so quickly. And some battles, though, they're won without loud voices, but with quiet trust. They're won because you trust God. Like, I don't have to tell you. I don't have to respond to you. I trust God. Does anybody else feel that way? That sometimes when you get quiet, people think that you're weak. When you get quiet, People think that something must be wrong with Pastor Mission. She's so quiet today. Sometimes I'm quiet because it's part of my strategy. It's a part of my action plan to be quiet, to get to that stillness. When you get quiet, you actually have an opportunity to center yourself with God. You have an opportunity to align yourself with what is true in God and true for you in your life. Have you ever just ran off? I'm just talking about me. You all probably don't do that. I see you, Erica's in the house, and hey, thank you, Dr. Perry, for that. Roberta's in the house. Thank you all for the happy Mother's Day. But listen to this. I've been in a position where I have released it so quick wit, jumped on top of it. And it took me places I was not supposed to go. Like I wasn't ready to go that far left or that far right. And if I would have just paused for a moment and got it together, lean in, listen to my heart, align myself with the priorities for my life, I probably wouldn't be where, some situations where I had to get myself out of it, right? Sometimes you talk yourself into some stuff. Am I the only one that has talked herself into something? Because I was so quick to release something out of my mouth. And I looked up and going, oh my Lord, I really didn't mean to go all the way over there. Relationships have ended because we've been speaking too much. We've left jobs too early, prematurely, because we spoke too much. We checked out of schools and universities. We quit our programs because we were talking too much. We broke up family relationships with siblings and parents and children because we talked too much. Sometimes, listen to me, believers, sometimes we talk too much. Thank you, Bertrand Todd, and thank you for reaching out from Oakland, California. Miss you, man. But sometimes we just talk entirely too much. And it's okay. I want you to normalize this. I want you to receive this. It is okay to be quiet. It's okay to be quiet. First of all, it's just okay to be quiet because that's a cultural thing. But let me take you to the scriptures because we are in a biblical position right now. So here it is. Ecclesiastes 3:7. It reminds us that there is a time to keep silence and there's a time to speak. So there is a time where you can keep silence, and that is an appropriate response. Even when people are baiting you, oh gosh, can I talk right here? Sometimes people will bait you to a place where they want you to respond. They're baiting you. They're putting it out there. They're pushing all your little buttons so that they can get you to say something. And when you release it out your mouth, remember this, words, their spirit and their life. And once they go out, it's going to take a lot to reel them back in. So you have to be careful even on the baiting. People will try to bait you into the argument, especially in this climate. They want to talk about politics. They want to talk about racism. They want to talk about class. They want to talk about, who's better than who, what political party is better than. Listen, you need to make sure that you understand that in Ecclesiastes 3:7, there is a time to be silent and there is a time to speak. You need to know when you should be talking and when you should be hitting the mute button. You need to know when you should be releasing. You need to know when you should be keeping it on mute. You should know when to be disciplined. You should hit those pause buttons and know it's okay for me to be silent in this movement. And if somebody questions it, it's a part of my strategy. Sometimes you got to strategize to keep the enemy guessing, to keep folk out your business, so God can do what God needs to do. I felt that right there. That was for somebody. Somebody keeps putting people in your business. When you always telling when you sharing everything, people in your business, and then all of a sudden folks that you thought were working for you are really working against you. Somebody wake up Joseph. Oh my goodness. Who went and told his brothers about his dreams. That was a time for you to exercise, to be quiet. You don't have to share your dreams with everybody. Not everybody's going to be happy for your dreams. Not everybody's going to be happy because God has spoken to you. Not everybody's going to be happy because you're getting ready to get a promotion or that your business is going well. Not everybody's happy that your marriage is going well or that your relationships are going well. Not everybody's happy for these things. And because of that reason, because they're not that happy for you, they'll start sabotaging you as soon as you release things out of your mouth. Oh my goodness. So sometimes you need to know when to speak. And here's another one, and who to speak to. Just because me and you cool, I'm not telling you everything. I may give you selective information. We may talk about a few topics. We're not going to talk about all topics. If you're not my prayer partner, if you don't love me, if you don't see the God in me, if you don't see where God is taking me, you can't have access to me. So therefore, some things I'm going to hit silence on. I may talk to you about others, but you're going to get the silent treatment on this one. And it's not because you're a bad person or I'm a bad person. It's just because this time my strategy is silence is going to be key, and it is powerful. Thank you. That's right, Bertrand. You got to learn how to move in silence. I was laughing because at one point in time, when I first got started in business, I was making some decisions, and I remember an individual that I had been sharing some things with, and they asked and they said, you didn't tell me about that. And I said, oh, that's right, I didn't. And they was like, oh, wow, you didn't tell me about that. Yeah, and there was a reason for it, because sometimes when you release things out and you share people your dreams and your thoughts, and they'll come back with all this negativity. Am I the only one that's had that experience where you may say, God, I believe God wants me to do dot, dot, dot. And they'll go, oh, I tried that myself before. I remember when God told me to do it, it didn't work out. Or I remember, I don't know if you should do. You think you should do that? You got one time to hit me with that, and I'm going to reposition you in my life, because when I'm moving by faith, listen, I need faith conversations, faith dialogue, faith talkers, and faith walkers around me. If you're a fearful person, move out my way. If you real hesitant to the point where you procrastinating, I can't roll with you, because I'm not a hesitant person. I'm that person that when God says move, I am going to. Matter of fact, we're reading this book called Necessary Endings. I am proactive in my moves. I'm asking God to position me to be proactive. I want to hear the Spirit, know where the Spirit is moving, and move. I want to be ready to move. I'm the one that's on your mark, get set. So when he says go, I'm already in position. I'm in the blocks. I'm already in position to take off. I'm just waiting for the gun to go to the sound. If anybody know, I'm a track runner. And so all I'm waiting for them is to pull the gun trigger. You got the blocks already set up. They say on your marks, get set. I'm in position. I'm just waiting on God to say go. And then I'm ready to go. So I can't hang out with folk that's not ready to go, not ready to move. They're not ready to get out the blocks. They're not ready to run the race. They still stretching. They still trying to find a track. They still trying to figure out this the race they're supposed to be running. If you that type of person, I'm going to say hi to you from a distance, but you cannot be in my intimate circle, because folks with me that's walking with me and talking with me and hanging with me, and I'm hanging with them, walking with them and talking with them, are faith walkers. Folks that understand that when it's time to move, we are moving. And sometimes we're going to be moving in silence. So if you talking all the time, probably not going to be with me. Somebody wake up the children of Israel. Go around the walls of Jericho 6 times and do what? You got it. God said, be quiet. Go around that wall. There wasn't no little merry-go-round. It was a large wall that encamped a whole city. Think about a wall going around Metro Nashville. And they had to walk around it 6 times and be quiet. Some folk wouldn't make it. I'm not saying folk on here, but some people, think about folks that's in your circle, they wouldn't have made it. They couldn't have stayed quiet for one day, let alone 6 days around the wall. Be quiet. Silence is a strategy. God used it. Be quiet. And on that 7th day, he allowed for them to release the sound. You've got to know there's a time to be silent and there's a time to speak. Man, thank y'all so much. Y'all hitting in here with these happy Mother's Day I see y'all out there, and happy Mother's Day to you all as well. Godmothers out there, Lady Giles has hit there. Hey, Belinda. Hey, I see DeMonte on there, Mary Ray and Barbara Watson. Thank you all so much, and happy Mother's Day to you all too that are mothers. God bless you all. All right, listen to this. Jesus, our perfect example. Just one incident. There's many, but just one incident. You all remember, whoa, let me get that together. You all remember when Jesus stood before Pontius Pilate? You all remember that when he stood before him, and when he could have responded when they were accusing him, they were saying to him, there we go, got it spelled right. They were accusing him of being wrong, and they wanted Pontius Pilate to say something to him. Jesus didn't even defend himself. And this is a lot of times where we get in trouble, because when people start accusing us or try to, talk bad about us, we want to respond. But Jesus taught us something in that moment. He taught us this. You don't have to respond. You don't have to respond when you know what's about to happen. That's the reason why Jesus didn't have to argue. He was like, I already know what's going to happen. I already know I'm going to the cross. But what he also knew is that he already had the victory. So when you already know you have the victory, you already know the game plan. That's the reason why I said you got to get quiet, because you need to hear what God is saying so you know the game plan. You know what you're getting ready to do. You know what's about to happen, right? That's why I want God to give me that so I can be proactive, so I can be tuned in, know what's happening. So when I'm quiet, it doesn't mean that I'm pondering, trying to figure out things. No, I'm quiet because I already know what God's about to do. Ooh, I already. Oh my, that was powerful right there. That thing hit me right again. Okay, so listen, you can get quiet because you already know what God is about to do. When you know that he's already promised you that he's going to give you the desires of your heart, you don't have to argue with anybody. You don't have to go back and forth with anybody. You don't have to try to explain to anybody. You don't have to try to make sure you qualify. God's already told me what he's about to do. And what I'm doing is I'm standing on God's truths. I'm standing with God. And when I'm standing with God, I'm not speaking. I don't have to. Let me tell you the reason why we don't have to do that. Let me pop this up. Because when we are silent, God speaks. Woo! When I get silent, my God be speaking. I ain't back at you. I don't have to get the clapbacks. I ain't got to get you. I don't have to get you told. I don't have to make sure you understand. Let me make sure you hear who I am. I have found time after time that when I've gotten quiet, God has shown people the truth, who I am, where I'm going, what I'm doing. I don't have to try to defend it. I don't tell a whole bunch of people, well, they mess with me. God gonna get them. No, yeah. God may get them, may not get them. I don't really care. All I know is God got me. Y'all better pick that one up. Let me repeat it again. Let me slow it down so you can get it. I don't care about I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you told. I don't worry about them trying to get me and me get them, because I already know that God got me. So when God got me, I'm to get you. I'm not gonna waste my energy trying to respond to you, trying to get you back, trying to make sure that you feel the heat, that you feel the pressure. I'm not gonna put no pressure on you. Why? Let God deal with you. Because God gonna handle you because God got me. And that's all that matters to me. So we got to understand, have to learn this. We have to understand that when we get silent, that God is speaking. And we have to understand this. Silence is a strategy. And you need to learn how to use that weapon appropriately. There's a time to speak, but there's also a time to be silent. And sometimes, in some seasons, it needs to be a quiet and silent season. So I want to encourage you to get quiet and use silence as your strategy, because it truly will work. Listen, we want you to hang out with us, keep it going, because we will be having 7:45, 1 hour of power. And yes, it's Mother's Day. So the women will be presenting and be doing most of the work during that time period because it's Mother's Day and we want to celebrate them. A powerful word is going to come forth at 7:45. You don't want to miss it. Catch it in person and or on our social ministry platforms. Again, you don't want to miss it. It's just 1 hour of power. Listen, if you catch it in person right after 7:45, the men have fixed continental breakfast for the women. So we get to come together and dine and feast and love on each other. So get going, get going, get going, get going, get to the church. Address on the screen if you're in the area. And then hang out with us at 10 o'clock. Another powerful word, 10 a.m. It's going to be wonderful. And for those of you who have a reservations day for your mom or for your grandmother or for the women that's in your life, please go out and celebrate them. I want to speak to those today because here's something that does happen a lot of times. We don't understand, or sometimes it's because we're not that we're insensitive, but it's just a mere fact that days go on. But for those individuals who have just lost their mom, or you lost your mom within 5 to 7 years, and I'm not saying that losing your mom never goes away. It never does. I'm still, missing my mom. It's coming up on some time here. Almost it's coming up on 6 years. And so missing my mom. But I want to share this with you learn to put bumpers, or I call them guardrails, around your heart, especially when you approach these holidays. We've got Memorial Day coming up, Father's Day is coming, July 4th. These are usually days where families come together, where you're spending time with your loved ones. And so learn to put bumper pads around your heart, around your emotions. Learn to put guardrails around your emotions, so that as you go through this day, when triggers do happen, they don't really impact you as much as they could. And what I mean by that, if you're a person who, if spending time alone, it leads you to a dark place, I'm praying that you find some safe people that you could just even be around. Invite people to your house so that you're not alone, so you don't go off into those dark places. If you're a person that you are around people all the time, and that's your way of defense mechanism, maybe steal away, go to the park, walk in the park and talk to God, and just commune with Him. Get refueled and refreshed through the Word of God. But whatever you can do to make sure that you are positioned so that you have some bumper pads or some guardrails around your emotions and your hearts, I want to encourage you to do that, so that the enemy does not have room to play with you. These are times where the enemy really can grab a hold of us, because our defenses are down, because we're broken. And I want to encourage you to position yourself so that God can protect you, and so that you can put things in place so that you don't deal with the triggers. Let me talk to the other side, because I happen to have bookends. So I don't have my mom, but I also don't have my children. So I don't have that person or persons that call to say Happy Mother's Day. So I'm grateful to all of you all who have been reaching in here to say Happy Mother's Day. And of course, have received some text messages as well. And I'm so grateful. But it's really nice when you hear your child's voice that says Happy Mother's Day. So to those mothers that have lost children, and their voices you won't hear anymore, again, I say the same thing to you. If you have other children, grandchildren, try to center yourself around family, talk to some people so that you can hear them, so that you can connect with them, so that you can hear their voice. Put some guardrails around that as well. I happen to have goddaughters that I reach out to. They talk to me. There's I call my godson too, that I reached out. All the three of them have lost their mom in the last few years. And so I availed myself to them. Hey, how are you doing? What's going on? Do you need me? Do I need you? And some have taken me up on them. Some have done some other things. But whatever they needed to do, I want to be there for them as they are there for me. It's important. That's my way of putting my guardrails up and putting my bumper pads up to ensure that I'll be okay. And as we approach, like I said, we're getting ready to go to Memorial Day. If you're used to having a picnic and barbecues and stuff like that, Maybe you scale it down, but invite some people over too, just so that you could be with some people so you're not spiraling downwardly. Let's make sure. And let's continue to pray for. Let's continue to pray for people. There are people there's a lot of losses that are going on. Let's continue to pray for people. We want to continue to pray for those. And so, as we said, continue to lift each other up, especially during this holiday season. If your mom is still alive, God mom, or G moms, or whatever they are, grandmothers, whatever, please go the extra mile to make this day a special day. And to all of the mothers that are listening to this, I want to say to you, happy Mother's Day. Go out and speak life in everything that you do and say, because your voice is valuable and your voice is powerful. God bless you. Again, happy Mother's Day.